Hello students, welcome to our video of human health and diseases. Now this video will be useful for the students who are studying in their 12th class. Now in this particular video we are discussing the diseases. So continuing forward, in last video we had discussed AIDS. In this particular video we will be discussing cancer. This is cancer will be studied in this particular video. Now this is the picture of actual cancer cell. Now you have seen already the picture of various cells, for example animal cell, plant cell, or for that matter prokaryotic cell. All these pictures you have seen. What is the drastic difference you could see in this picture of cancer cell and those cells? I'm sure you immediately found out the difference. That was this presence of finger-like projections. Microvilli-like projection you could see, right? And because of that, this disease is called as cancer. Understood? Because the cancer term comes from the Greek word karkinos, that means crab. And the way cancerous cell resembles to this protruding feet, protruding claws of the crab, this disease is called as cancer. This term cancer is given by Greek physician Hippocrates. Understood? The study of cancer is called as oncology. Now as you could see, oncology term is made up of two terms. One is onco and second is logy. Now we know the meaning of logy, that is to study. So what does onco mean? Onco का क्या मतलब रहेगा? Onco means bulk, mass or tumor. The study of bulk, mass and tumor will be called as oncology. Indirectly, study of cancer, because in cancer you will have this bulk and mass of cell. Cancer, just like AIDS, is very dreadful disease because it is one of the major cause of death all over the world. That is why cancer area is of intense research field. Many scientists, they are researching this cancer. What is the causative factor? How one can avoid from suffering the cancer, right? So we are studying this very serious disease called as cancer. What happens in cancer? As I have written only 2 points here, which are uttermost important. Okay, otherwise I could have written some 1, 2, 3, 4 blah blah blah, so many things which are related with cancer, but these two are very important features. So first is your uncontrollable growth of the cell. Understood? Uncontrollable growth of the cell. Now in case of multicellular organism, that organism grows by means of cell division. Size of the organism increases because of cell division. Now whenever we are talking cell division term, I mean mitotic division, equational division and not the meiotic one, right? Meiotic division, the result of which will be your formation of haploid gamete. So we are not talking about meiotic division, mitotic division, when cell is dividing mitotically and the division is uncontrolled. So what will happen? Cell will keep on dividing and you will get huge mass, huge growth, tumor formation in case of cancer. Okay, cell divides uncontrollably. So uncontrollable growth of the cell is the main feature that you will see in case of cancer, right? Second important phenomena you will see here is loss of contact inhibition. Now if you skip the term loss, ओनली कॉन्टैक्ट इनहिबिशन टर्म देखो आप. contact inhibition is the feature of normal cell. What does it mean? What does contact inhibition mean? Contact means whenever any cell comes in contact with other cell. So what happens? Inhibition means that cell will inhibit the further growth. Further growth will be stopped. Understood? Whenever normal cell comes in contact with another cell, it will stop further growing. It will stop encroaching the space of other neighboring cell. It will not invade in the space of that other neighboring cell. This is the feature shown by normal cell. Understood? And this feature is lost in case of cancer. Normal cell transforms into cancerous cell and it will show this feature, loss of contact inhibition, and it will start encroaching, it will start invading in the space of other cell, other organ. Now I have written here uncontrollable growth, which is related with the cell division. We will just refresh our knowledge about cell division, which we have studied in our class 11th. And in cell division specifically, we are focusing upon how that cell division is controlled. How this, or what is the site or location of these various checkpoints. This is quite familiar pie chart for you. You know, this is your cell cycle, which starts with the G1, then S phase, phase of synthesis of DNA, and then G2, that is your gap 2. M phase will be your actual cell division occurs here, right? Now we know many a times the cell which is not supposed to undergo division, it will escape this division and it will undergo into this resting state, G0 state. So whether a cell should undergo division or not, that will be decided by this G1 checkpoint. So it is located here. ये जो red color का bar दिख रहा है आपको, that is your G1 checkpoint. Now this information is not provided in our textbook, but many times I have seen question in NEET exam are asked based upon these checkpoints. So we should be familiar only. We are not going into detail. You should just know where these checkpoints are located, or where at which point cell can stop or cell can prohibit from going further into cell division. So what happens at G1 checkpoint? Cell will check for presence of nutrients, presence of growth factors, right? So if nutrient scarcity is there, cell will not undergo division, because for division you should have enough amount of energy in your hand. For that you require nutrients. For in a particular quantity, or that particular cell should grow up to certain size or shape, then only there will be disturbance in the cytoplasm nucleus ratio. Do you recall this term? We have studied in case of, in chapter cell division. Whenever there is disturbance in cytoplasm and nucleus, in order to restore that imbalance, cell will undergo division. In the same way, you have one more ratio, that is volume to surface area ratio. Whenever there is disturbance in this ratio, in order to maintain the balance or in order to maintain the ratio, cell will undergo division, right? So if you do not have enough nutrients, cell will not grow and cell will not undergo division. Okay, so this is your G1 checkpoint. So after G1, DNA synthesis will occur, then G2 phase will come. Now this is also one of the very major checkpoint. Okay, G2 जो है means after that, once cell surpasses this checkpoint, it is destined to undergo division. So in that sense, this G2 checkpoint, ये जो है तुम्हारा G2, ये important है, because at this checkpoint cell will check for presence of any error in DNA replication. Because we know in S phase DNA replication has occurred, DNA synthesis has occurred. So if there is any error in the newly formed DNA, cell will not undergo cell division. And these various checkpoints function gets affected in case of cancer. So even though your DNA is full of error, it will still proceed to cell division. So this controls, these checkpoints are controlled. Okay, it is controlling the cell cycle. So these checkpoints, for example, we know if you are traveling in secure area, so you have that barrier, that checkpoints, right? What the truck full of enemy will do? It will just bulldoze that checkpoint. It will not stop at the checkpoint, and whatever treasure is secured inside that checkpoint, the security of that treasure will get affected. Understood? In the same way, this is very important process, that is cell division is occurring in the M phase. So even though cell is full of error in DNA, you will have this mutated DNA in your future 2 daughter cells. And this is exactly happening in cancer. These checkpoints is getting compromised. Okay. Now you have main 2 types of cancer, or tumor you can say. Tumor is nothing but the mass of cells. So you have 2 types. One is benign and second is malignant. From term itself you can make out benign means harmless. Okay. Why this benign tumor is harmless? Because it will confine to its original location. I will show one picture. So this is your benign tumor. Here label is given benign. So you could see this blue color. This is your capsule. This is your enclosed area. These are your cancerous cell. Okay. And this is your normal body cell. Label किया है यहाँ पे, you could see. So inside the capsule you have this cancerous cell. But these cancerous cells are confined to this area because of presence of this capsule. And because of this presence of capsule, it is harmless. It is not encroaching in the neighboring tissue, neighboring organ, and that is why it causes little damage. Now even though I have said that it is harmless, but still it can convert into harmful. It may cause harm. Why? Because benign tumor can at any time convert into malignant. One thing. And second thing, suppose location. Location also matters. At which side this benign tumor is present. For example, this benign tumor is present in the brain. What will happen? This benign tumor will cause the compression of brain tissue against the hard skull. As brain tissue will get compressed, it will affect its functioning. Understood? So in this way, benign tumor can be harmful also. Second is your malignant. Malignant is, as it is more harmful than benign tumor. Why? Because it is not enclosed in the capsule. See, I have shown you in the picture here. This is your malignant tumor cell. See, there is no any such blue color capsule. All these cancerous cell, all these abnormal cell, cancerous cell are also called as transformed cell. Do not get confusion with the process transformation. Okay. So cancerous cell are also called as transformed cell, and this cancerous cell in case of malignant tumor, they are not enclosed in the capsule. And very easily they can travel. This cancerous cell can travel through blood and lymph, and it can reach to distantly located organs also. The process will be called as metastasis. So at various location it can reach, and it can cause tumor formation in that remotely located organ, and that is why this malignant tumor is more harmful as compared to benign. See, I have written here mass of proliferating cells called neoplastic cells. These cells grow very rapidly, invading and damaging the surrounding normal tissue. It shows metastatic property. I have just explained the metastatic property. That means it will reach to remotely located organ. It will travel, it will transport via blood and lymph. Because these cells, it will get sloughed off from the tumor or that mass, and it will transport along with the blood. This picture we have discussed just now. Now, depending upon the site of tumor, we have these types. Now, these types, they are not mentioned in our NCERT textbook. These are only mentioned in State Board textbook. Okay. So, but you should know what is carcinoma, what is sarcoma. So, in one line, you can just keep in mind that carcinoma is the tumor that arises from epithelial. Now, we know epithelial tissue where it is present. It will cover or it will form the lining of organs. So, lining of body organs, the cancer that arises from this particular tissue will fall in the category carcinoma. Examples I have given here, some of the examples like lung cancer, breast cancer, cancer of stomach, skin cancer. These are examples of carcinoma tumor or carcinoma type of cancer. In the same way, next we have is sarcoma. It arises from the connective tissue. Now we know various connective tissue. So bone tumor, cancer of cartilage, like that you have different types of sarcoma. Next is lymphoma. नाम से पता चल रहा है, this particular cancer arises from lymphatic tissue. Understood? Example, cancer of lymphatic nodes, spleen, and various tissue of immune system will fall in this lymphoma category. Leukemia, adenocarcinoma. Leukemia, it is a blood cancer, especially increase in number of white blood cell. So in leukemia, you will have excessive formation of WBC. It will give rise to cancerous condition called as leukemia. Next is adenocarcinoma. In this, various glands are affected. The cancer of various glandular tissue. For example, thyroid gland, pituitary gland, adrenal gland. These are your various glands. So, cancer of this gland will be your adenocarcinoma. What are the causative factor of cancer? All these fall under the category or under the term carcinogens. Causative factor of cancer are commonly called as carcinogens. So broadly we have divided this carcinogen in three categories: physical carcinogen, chemical carcinogen, and biological carcinogens. Right? So in physical carcinogen you have various radiations. Okay. For example, ionizing radiations like X-rays and gamma rays. Ultraviolet radiation will fall under the category of non-ionizing. So this radiation are your physical type of carcinogens. Second, you have chemical. Chemical carcinogen includes various chemicals like I have provided here list: nicotine, which is present in the tobacco, caffeine, then products of coal and oil combustion, various hydrocarbons, and sex hormones and steroids. All these are your various chemicals that may cause cancer. Next is your biological carcinogen. Biological carcinogen, we have cellular oncogenes. Now one very interesting feature here is this cellular oncogenes. In short, we also call it C-onc. Okay, C-onc genes. So these genes are present in everyone's body. Okay, we all have this cellular oncogene. But then why we don't suffer from cancer? We don't see all the people or entire human being, they will not suffer, they will not have cancer. Only few selected one will have. So what happens? These oncogenes, onco we have seen, onco stands for your mass or tumor, right? So the genes responsible for the formation of mass or tumor will be your oncogenes. In short, the genes which are responsible for the cancer will be your oncogenes. Now these genes are present in everyone's body. These genes are located on DNA. Okay. Still we don't see that we all suffer from cancer because these oncogenes are present in inactive form. Understood? Now these inactive oncogenes can convert into oncogenes because of these various carcinogens. One triggering factor is required. That triggering factor could be your radiation or some chemicals or some your virus also. There are many viruses, for example HPV, EBV, for that matter HIV also. They carry these oncogenes which causes the cancer in that particular person's body. Diagnosis of cancer. Diagnosis is very important while treating the cancer because as soon as you diagnose the presence of cancer, you must have heard this saying or this sentence in your day-to-day lifestyle or you can say in family gathering. अरे उसको कैंसर हुआ लेकिन लास्ट स्टेज पे पता चला इसलिए कुछ नहीं कर पाए. या फिर मूवी में ये लाइन तो पक्का सुना होगा, 4th स्टेज में पहुंच गया था कैंसर, राइट? सो दैट इज वाई detection of presence of cancer at early stage is very important, because if you are able to detect it at early stage, treating the cancer is very easy. But many a times in first stage or second stage, means at initial stage it will not show any symptoms, it will remain asymptomatic. Once it starts invading other organ and once it starts affecting the functioning of other organ, one will come to know the presence of this disease, and that will be some 4th stage or last stage. So that is why detection of cancer at early stage is very, very important. So in diagnosis we try to achieve that only. So this diagnosis or presence of cancer can be done by means of biopsy, take out the tissue and histopathological study of that tissue, radiography where use of X-ray is done, CT scan आपने सुना होगा. In CT scan also you use X-ray, but in X-ray you get 2D picture, while in case of CT scan you get picture of that particular organ from various angle. Okay, so you can correlate this pictures from various angle and you can form the 3D image of that organ. So suppose suppose cancer or tumor is located deep inside the organ. Still, as you have this 3D picture, you can find out the location of that particular cancer. So that is achieved by means of CT scanning. One more tool you have, that is MRI. In CT you are using X-ray. In case of MRI you use magnetic resonance imaging. Okay, you must have seen in movies or in hospital this MRI scanning के लिए लेके गए ऐसे बोलते हैं. So what you do, you have data from the normal tissue, okay, and you will compare whatever data you get from so and so persons or so and so patient's tissue. You will compare this data and you will come to know that so and so tissue is cancerous because the data is not matching with the data of normal tissue. You can also use antibodies for the detection of cancer. Okay, because cancerous cell show transformation. One transformation we have seen, that is a finger-like projection. In the same way, it will show presence of some antigen on the surface. So you can use antibodies against this antigen, right? So it will help you in diagnosing the presence of cancer. Treatment part. Cancer treatment combines various steps. Okay, combination of treatment is given for the cancer. First is your surgery. You will remove the tumor surgically. Okay, surgery, surgical removal of tumor. Next is your radiation therapy. Okay, what you are doing in radiation therapy? You are using radiation. Various radioactive elements are there. For example, cobalt we use, iodine we use, iridium we use. Okay, so we use this radiation for killing the cancerous cell. We are simultaneously making it sure that it is not affecting your normal cell. It is only targeting the cancerous cell. So in radiation therapy we do that. Next is your immunotherapy. What happens? Cancerous cell tend to escape the immune system. Okay, they will present themselves in such a way that your immune system won't be able to recognize the cancerous cell. So in immune therapy, what you are doing, you are enhancing the immune response, and one of the molecule used for doing that is your alpha interferon. Okay, so we use alpha interferon to enhance the immune system, so that it will recognize the cancerous cell and it will target and destroy the cancerous cell. Next is your chemotherapy. Various anti-cancer drugs are used. What they do? They will check the cell division by inhibiting the DNA synthesis. Okay, and it may also cause to destroy the cancerous cell via some other means also. One of the way is that it will inhibit the DNA synthesis, right? And these are your toxic to cancerous cell. Normal cell will be saved from this anti-cancerous drug. Now there are some side effects of this treatment, chemotherapy, that is hair loss, anemia. But once the treatment is over, that side effects also will be vanished. Okay, so this combination of treatment is given. Apart from this line of treatment, some symptomatic treatment is also given depending upon the site of the cancer. Understood? You can go back to your first slide and you can listen to entire video again, and you can refer your textbook also, both the textbooks, NCERT textbook and State Board textbook, and you can compare this. You can note down the important words. Keep on studying and keep on watching our videos. Thank you.